the world to make a change.
Fight justice for the Black community. And how? At lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcome into The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into The Breeze on Ticket Weekends. I am Harrison Arns running the board, and we have, as always, host Haas with us as well, and Derek Pearson. These guys are remote, but we'll have a full show ahead here. We'll be going all the way up until 1 o'clock before we throw it to Tom and Mike, and they'll take you through a couple of hours highlighting the week for Husker events. But I'll throw it to you, Haas. How's it going, man?
Great, Harrison. How you doing? DP?
What's good, brother?
Harrison, you watched the basketball game yesterday for Nebraska?
Yeah, it was a heartbreaker. I knew K-State was going to have one of those games where he goes unconscious, and I was like, it could not have been a better time versus Purdue. But at the end there, the guys played their butt off. I don't want to bash on them at all because I thought they tried everything they could in their power, but they just couldn't make shots at the end, and it was just a heartbreaker. And yeah, there's a missed call by the ref there at the end. I mean, it should have been a no call, not a missed call. But you got to beat him before you even let it get to the refs, decision like that. So I'm happy to see the progress that they're making. Would have been nice to have a win. But yeah, they just got to learn. They still got to learn how to close out games. It's going to be a problem for them yet, I think.
Just wanted to see what it was like in your senior year to see your basketball team be so successful, because my senior year I got to live the Mason Final Four run. So it's pretty cool to see Nebraska fight like that. And when I'm texting DP throughout, it's like, this is how the Big Ten plays. It's just a straight up Haas fight going on all around the court.
Yeah, and they embraced it this year, which is nice. They embraced that defense is what's gonna win you those Big Ten games.
Playing against a 7'6" guy who's just a brick house is pretty hard. So
yeah, I was impressed. Derek Walker was having offense at the end there. He had quite a few plays where it was him and ISO on Edey because the whole play was just falling apart. And at the very end of the stretch there, I mean, he was kind of showing his arsenal. He had like a running hook that you haven't seen since that Lakers way back in the day with Kareem. So I was impressed by Derek Walker. And yeah, I think they'll get back on the right track. I mean, that's 3 brutal days. You got number 7 Creighton, number 14 Indiana, and then number 4 Purdue. So I think they'll bounce back. I'm excited to see how they kind of come back and attack this next few games.
Love it. Coach, what'd you think?
Well, it's that dance that we've been talking about. The balance of learning what Fred Hoiberg wants this team to be, how he put it together, why he put it together, and creating teams. Sometimes you want to go certain skill hungry, right? And you want to do this thing a lot, right? I need to shoot jumpers a lot. I need to be able to do this in transition. I need to get easy buckets somewhere. Nope. He said simply what we're going to do is we're going to defend first like crazy. We're going to limit second chances by the opposing team. And then we're going to give our shooters the freedom to take shots. Like, that's a big thing that gets missed in this whole thing is if you're Fred Hoiberg and you've got guys who are pretty good shooters, but it doesn't always show up in the numbers, you have to honor what you see in practice. And if you see in practice that in this transition game they're making open threes, then you have to give them the freedom. That's good coaching. That's where eventually the numbers will show up on game day. And look, if this was against Northwestern, it would be the same conversation as if it was against number 4 Purdue. That's how good the performance was. That if you're going to defend at that level, You're going to compete at that level. You're going to just be gritty and grimy and not bail. And then let's say this: the emergence, the constant presence of Keisei Tamanaga as an offensive player for this team in big-time Big Ten play is a thing that all Husker fans can applaud. And then let's circle this, that if we're telling the truth, Derek Walker outplayed the National Player of the Year yesterday, face-to-face.
Yeah. I that's what I'm saying. I was so impressed by Derek Walker. I mean, he didn't just do what he was doing before. He took it to another level. Like, I was seeing him use moves he hasn't used all season because he understood the challenge, and he's like, hey, this stuff isn't going to work anymore. I'm dealing with a way bigger guy. And he proved he's got more in the bag, and he can still get more out of him. I feel like he can just keep getting better.
Yeah, that's the work that was going on in the offseason. And again, imagine this team, if Derek Walker's ready in game one of the season. Derek missed the first few games. Come game 5, he makes his debut. He doesn't look right in game 1 because you need those game legs versus therapy and practice legs. And then all of a sudden it pops, right? He took one of the great weaknesses of this team, which was their ability to get in the press break and not turn the ball over. So giving you a big in the middle that has presence that can, one, bring it up, not afraid to bring it up, a high IQ big, right, who then can be the facilitator and the conductor at the top of the key, dragging Big Ten bigs out of that deep water that they don't want to be in, and then allowing the offense and Fred Hoiberg's system, and Haas knows his system because he would sit and watch our kids run it against his kids, and we would go, you know what, I'm going to back cut you to death. And the better they back cut, the harder they back cut, the better they're going to be in the Big Ten season, because those are not the legs of Big Ten players. They don't like having to defend for a full shot clock from wing to baseline of the basket. They don't like that midline. They don't like doing that full back and forth. So Nebraska has some things that'll be a constant problem for Big Ten teams. Credit Fred Hoiberg, and then credit the guys for being willing to do it. Guys like Juwan Gary and Bandamel. And again, I'm mad today. How do we as Husker fans not have a song that rhymes Emmanuel Bandamel? Like, how is that not a song already?
I'll say this as a coach. Just having a big with that size, that technique, that skill, that touch, that was impressive. For a while, I'd see him try to go in there, and Edey would just shut him down. And I was like, I don't think he has a move that he could score on him. And then it was like, oh, he did that. He did that. It's like it was Olajuwon over there with obviously not the same height, but he had some moves, and it was pretty impressive. So if you have that kind of old man game, then yes, you can have the backdoor cuts. Yes, you can have people running off of him, and it starts with Walker. So that, as a guy who's a fan who hasn't watched Nebraska like you guys, that was impressive to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it was
and
also fun. It was fun. Harrison, were you there or were you in studio? Where were you doing the game?
I was in studio.
I have to say that that's the best student section that we've had at PBA in 3 years. Pandemic had a lot to do with it, right? Pandemic had a lot to do with it, but being that it's end of semester and to still have that sort of show on a Saturday at 1 o'clock, well done, man. Well done, student body.
Yeah, it was definitely alive. I saw Nick tweeted out during the game because I believe he was down there, and he said this is what PBA has been trying to do for a long time. That was the first game. It's like this is the potential. This is why Nebraska fans have been dying for this program to get going, because it's a beautiful arena, arguably the best in the Big Ten, right? Brand new. It's great for getting recruits, but we haven't seen it packed yet like that, and not just full, but full in a game that has meaning. And that game had a lot of meaning behind it. It felt like we're really finally get traction. So to see that place that electric, it it just makes me happy. You know, that's the Nebraska basketball I'm waiting to see. And like you said, I think they're just going to keep getting better. I mean, Derek Walker is going to continue to develop as a playmaker, and that's just going to help. Like you said, those backdoor cuts are going to get a lot easier. They're going to figure out, you know, that offense gets a little congested at times, but as they continue to play together, that should fix a lot of the spacing issues. But yeah, I'm really, you know, proud of this team. It's a team that it kind of embraces the Lincoln culture, just hardworking defense, gritty, and they're just a great team to watch.
When it comes time for the NCAA tournament, the question is, does a 500 team from the Big Ten make the tournament? And I thought this would have been a huge statement game that obviously would have really helped making the tournament. But there's plenty of opportunity in the Big Ten, obviously. So,
well, 500 in the Big Ten would get you in. It's the rest of the schedule. So the last, well, I mean, you know, you got Kansas State, you got a non-con that you can kind of create a little buffer for the Big Ten numbers, and then for the NIT and that sort of thing, they just want to play past the Big Ten tournament. And my thing is, remember that this is game 5 with Derek Walker. This is game 5 with this starting lineup. This is game 4, because Sam Griesel didn't play in the last game. Mm-hmm. They're just getting to know each other, and they're just getting to know themselves. They found out more about themselves yesterday than they had in the previous games, and that's 5 really impressive performances against the last 5 Power 5 teams. Like, you get the wins against the ACC teams, and then you go to Creighton, who was at the time in the top 15. You put what JR would say, you stomped a mud hole in them in their own building, and then you stared number 4 in the country. And there are people in the country who produce the best team in the country.
Right.
So learning to finish, I think they know how to finish. They just have to execute. A couple of missed front end one-and-ones and a terrible assumption whistle by a referee in the final 10 seconds. But this is one of those rare occasions where nobody left the building upset or mad or disappointed yesterday. Purdue was happy to escape. Husker fans were glad to see the new version of this Husker basketball team. And both coaches had something to coach from and to coach for. So bravo to yesterday. It was pretty good stuff.
I'll wrap up the basketball game with this. Seeing Tominaga in the Steph Curry number and shoot the way you were bragging about him. And when I saw him shoot, I was like, oh, okay. This guy's a shooter. He needs to shoot the ball every time he touches it. And you were pointing that out. And I love shooters. I wish he shot the ball more. So
he came in as the Japanese Steph Curry. And everybody overseas, even in Europe, you're professionals. I mean, guy that goes and plays for national teams as a teenager, you know, so his stature is greater everywhere else in the world than it is here. And being at Nebraska has something to do with it. But listen, Harrison, hasn't he been a lead scorer like 3 times already out of the games they've played so far?
Yeah, I mean, he was last night. I believe he finished with like 19, something around there.
He's
had led the team a few times.
Yeah, he's had 20 a few times. My thing is this: coaches get in their own way sometimes. We do, like we absolutely do, right? That we need to get other people involved. But when you have a world-class, elite-level shooter who also can put it on the floor and get to the mid-range that people don't know how to defend, and is a great finisher at the glass. Like, Casey's got a full bag of of moves around the rim to get his shot off. He's got a great touch high off the glass, which is, again, an elite-level deal. You have to get him. It's Harrison, it's so basic. Give the guy that shoots it the best the most opportunities. Like,
Amen,
it's like,
DP. Amen. I was screaming at my TV yesterday. I couldn't believe it.
You know, I mean, it's constant, and so they'll have to figure this out, right? How to do this. But my goodness gracious, you got to let your shooter shoot, man. It's in the name.
Not even that. It's one thing watching this Nebraska team that I see they desperately still need if they want to continue to get better, and it's the ball handling. They need another ball handler. You know who's actually gotten a lot better at handling the ball and bringing it up the court and dicing up defenses? Casey. He's two answers in one guy. You can get better at ball handling. Your offense becomes way more threatening, and you can still have Sam Griesel run the show, but just help him, set him up. He obviously proves he can shoot it off the dribble, so have him catch it, dribble off a screen. He can pull up and hit anything. He's shown he's got a huge arsenal of taking those threes. So that's one thing I think if this team really wants to take it to the next level, get him more involved. You're going to fix two issues with one guy.
DP, I'm a random guy that just watched Nebraska for a couple of minutes. I didn't watch them all season. I haven't been to their practices. I'll admit all that. And when I saw Purdue run some offenses and run set plays, they were deliberate. They did what they're supposed to do. They executed. All Nebraska really has to do, the reason why it's so hard to guard Steph Curry is you're going to have to run two defenders at him from 40 feet out, 35 feet out. And when you do that, that's just 4-on-3. That's just an easy play. We have your athletic players who could just go and do something with it. You don't have three shooters on your team. You're not Golden State. Take advantage of the numbers. Take advantage of 4-on-3.
Well,
this guy.
Here's the thing, Haas. They do have four shooters on the floor. Like when Casey's out there, Bandamel is a banger from three. CJ Wilcher is a polished shooter. When he's on, I mean, again, the last game CJ carried him. In the battle, like in a brawl. CJ carried him. CJ can get you buckets from three. When he gets it going, he's elite. And Juwan Gary has had 3 games where he was just on fire. The problem is this, that Griesel can shoot, doesn't. Like he needs to shoot more threes. Mm-hmm. Because he's so elite down in the box with size, that's a thing that can happen. And that also creates space, a narrow space for he and Derek Walker. They go high-low, but that takes away Casey's ability to put it on the floor when they chase him off the three. Spacing is offense. So when this team spaces and becomes patient, Casey is a factor. They're all better players. But the thing that happens is that Casey is so unorthodox in his ability to maneuver in that space that, Haas, you know this better than anybody. When you have that elite penetrator, everybody else watches. Like you get caught up in Casey's in the bag, and instead of you getting to your spot, so when they double him, you're just like, oh man, I'm a step late because I got caught watching it. Like I got caught watching it, man. I got caught. My bad. So they're learning as they go. The Derek Casey pick and roll is going to be murder in the Big Ten Conference this year because Derek on the pick and roll, Derek on the pick and dive, Derek on the pick and kick. Casey at the top of the key, they run him off. Casey at a full sprint to the bucket. Then it's Derek in a big 2-on-1 against a Big Ten big. They're learning how to do this, and it showed up yesterday, but it needs to show up in full. Like that's going to be the thing is when that pick and roll game expands to what it could be, because Casey dives twice, third time Casey sprints to the corner. And it's a bang down three. So they're learning how to play it. Give them time. But yesterday was just applause worthy. It was good to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really happy for you guys, and that should be, hey, this one got away, but we can't let the next two get away. The next two, we have to show that if this was number 4, even though they play like number 1 in the country, we can go do this against the next two teams. But real quick before we, what's that?
Toe to toe, man. That was good. That was good.
Before we go to break and talk about wrestling, because we have a lot with wrestling, we're going to relive some WrestleMania 38 today, just because the best part of wrestling during the year is as the new year comes, as they build up for the next WrestleMania, as they build up for the Royal Rumble. So wrestling really starts to pick up from December, January on to April, May. So for today's show, I want to relive some of WrestleMania 38, forgetting some of the storylines that happened this year. It's pretty interesting to go back to that, but also catchphrases, greatest catchphrases in WWE. So those are things I want to talk about. But before we do, there's a couple NFL matchups that have already happened in the past couple days or week, or that will happen that I wanted to quickly talk about. So Burrow versus Mahomes. Burrow's 3-0 against Mahomes. What's going on there?
It's the exact same score the last 2 games in a row, too. If you realize that, I think it was like 29-27 or something like that. Go ahead, DB.
Well, but I don't think it. See, this is where we get caught up in a BS narrative. It's never Burrows versus Mahomes. It's just not. They're never on the field at the same time, and they never have anything to do with each other. Like Joe can't stop Patrick. Patrick can't stop Joe. The difference is that Cincinnati's approach on defense that gets them in trouble against Pittsburgh and Buffalo works against KC because they have smaller, more svelte, more athletic, more gifted defenders in space. And they get into lanes that throw Mahomes off. Mahomes is normally looking for a little bit of space. Again, same thing applies for basketball, it applies for football. Spacing is offense, offense is space. And Kansas City and Mahomes work from space. But Cincinnati's defense does a better job of getting into those crevices than any defense that Mahomes faces every year. So that's really what this is that defense creates, which they look, if you want to get in the closet against Cincinnati, you got a shot. But if you want to play the full 55 sideline and then a box of 15, Cincinnati's a problem defensively, and that's what they do against KC. And KC hates it because they've got those athletic bigs that can run interference with Kelsey. They get in those throwing windows that Mahomes likes to throw through, and they're fast enough to shut the run game down. So it's more Cincinnati's defensive skill set rather than Burrow and how they're getting it done.
And I agree with you 100%. The last QB matchup, and it's not a matchup that I'm going to bring up, Purdy and Brady. It's going to be what is Tampa Bay's defense going to do to Mr. Irrelevant? What are they going to do now that there's been a week to prepare for him? Are they going to allow him to throw the ball? Are they going to have unique blitzes to confuse him? That's going to be the biggest thing. And for Brady, the Niners defense is second to none. So he gets to go and show why he's the GOAT. And historically, the old man versus a rookie QB, the old man always wins. And I know, again, it's not QB versus QB, but I'm a little worried as a 49er fan, and I'm wearing a Garoppolo and Kittle shirt out of respect, even though I'm not a big Garoppolo fan. Out of respect for Garoppolo and bringing the Niners to where they are, but I think Purdy's going to do it. If I'm to guarantee anything, I'm not picking against Brady today, though. And so I'm just not.
You big chicken.
I know. I'm a realist.
Harrison, are you watching this? Are you watching this guy?
I'm a realist. Hey,
yeah, I think pick your guy. I guess you're out on Jimmy G, but yeah, I mean you're just gonna have to ride or die with them. I don't think it's gonna be a good recipe for you guys today, though. I don't want to jinx it. I'm sandbagging a little bit. I think Brock Purdy's no. I'm a Hoss pick. Make it your
Hoss pick. My Hoss boss pick is the Lions over the Vikings. It's
really?
The Lions
Okay.
over. Yeah,
That's not a surprise. It's not a surprise.
I know, but a 10-2 team should destroy the Lions. Vegas I think.
My DP's. Let me give a DP's pick. But it's not for today. It's for December 17th. The Huskers travel to Kansas City to play Kansas State. Huskers in the guaranteed lock of the day. They beat Kansas State.
What do you got, Harrison?
Well, I was gonna say that the Giants were gonna beat the Eagles, but it's 7-0 already, so not.
You can't. No. We can't look at our phones. You got Giants over Eagles.
He's on the TV. I was looking at other games going on because
He's got Giants over Eagles.
Yeah.
Hey, for all I know, the Lions are down 14-0. I don't know.
Right.
All right, hey, we got to get out of here. We'll just go to break. We'll wrap this segment up here. And like you said, Haas, we got WrestleMania 38. He's going to be talking about that one here in the next segment with DP. So be sure to stay tuned in. And we're going all the way up until 1 o'clock. And then we'll have Mike and Tom Stevens after. So stay tuned in. We'll be back right after this break.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit asiaretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The Nebraska State Veterans Homes are here to serve veterans, their spouses, surviving spouses, and Gold Star parents. Join your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes in Bellevue, Kearney, Norfolk, or Scottsbluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
President Kennedy called on Americans to ask not what our country can do for us, but what we can do for our country. We Nebraskans have always defined ourselves by our strong desire to help others. This holiday season, Serve Nebraska encourages Nebraskans to share their time and resources to offer a helping hand to those in need. Because this is what Nebraskans do. Nebraskans volunteer. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The Ticket Water Cooler with Jake Bakoven and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
With Tony White and his 3-3-5 system that he's going to bring to Nebraska, do you think that's a fit in the Big Ten?
It does seem like a type of defense that allows for a lot of different formations at the point of attack. It's not that they're only going to have 3 down linemen, it's that it allows for pressure to come from a lot of different spots. In terms of, rushing the passer, which is something that Nebraska has kind of been lacking in.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weekends. I am Harrison Arn joining the board, and we have the Breeze with hosts Haas and Derek Pearson back with us. In this segment, we're kind of going to be talking about WrestleMania 38. So if you guys want to chime in, hit up the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685, or you can even call in at the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Same number, 402-464-5685. With that being said, I'll throw it to you, Haas.
So it's interesting. Anytime you go into WrestleMania season, there's fans that just get upset and bark about, why is this person who's not a wrestler, or why is this person who's a part-time wrestler come in and steal the thunder or take away time from people who are there all year? And so with WrestleMania 38, looking at the card, if you looked at it before the matches, there's Logan Paul and The Miz versus the Mysterios. There's Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. And there's Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Oh, and one more. The main event of Saturday night, there was Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, which was supposed to be a segment, just a KO show segment. So there's 4 things there that the loud, annoying fans would complain about. And if I am to look back and watch WrestleMania 38, which I did, and so did DP, all 4 of those matches delivered. All 4 of those matches delivered. They didn't deliver as much as Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, which was awesome. That was so electric. Reigns Lesnar was fun, but it wasn't as big or I don't know. That was a quick match.
It's never going to be, Haas.
I know when you have heavyweights, they're just gonna punch each other, sort of suplexes and spears and all those things. But the most surprising thing, and it's great to go back and look, it's like, Logan Paul really got the crowd in, like, just angry with his 3 amigos, and then getting on the top rope and doing his Eddie Guerrero stuff. Like, DP, I was just shocked that
Harrison, let me help you. Let me help Haas out here. All right, that WrestleMania is never for Haas. It's for Harrison. It's to get Harrison to watch instead of, because Haas is going to watch. So no matter who they put on the card, Haas is a wrestling mark. He is going to show up and he's going to be committed to it. Harrison, they want you to be able to watch and talk about WrestleMania because they've spent all this extra money on WrestleMania that they don't spend on the other pay-per-views. So it's for you. So who do they have to get you to so that if your friends are watching it, that you can sit through it, at least be curious about it, right?
Who do I pick? I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. The Paul brothers have been interesting. I've actually been watching. Like, I don't necessarily like either of them. But I'm like, there's no way these guys are legit, are they? And then it turns out they're pretty legit. Now I can't stop watching. I'm waiting for the tower to fall, and it just hasn't yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. And so Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, they fully understand without saying it out loud that we need Harrison to watch and be curious. Now, once they do that, it takes time to get those people, Johnny Knoxville, the Paul brothers, they have to get up to speed. And so it takes them 6 months just to learn to do the basic stuff without killing themselves, right? Without killing themselves, right? What they do not want is for Harrison to wrestle for a day, and Haas tries something spectacular on him and breaks his arm. We don't want that. So that's what WrestleMania 38 was for. The fans who just came out of a pandemic, who needed to be entertained by people that they were curious about. And while they did it, they showed you a reason to watch the people that they were wrestling against. And look, my pet peeve with WrestleMania is this. If you're going to put Johnny Knoxville out there against Sami Zayn can't be WrestleMania 39's co-main event. Like look, man, I got a memory. And so you can't tell me in one year, Johnny Knoxville kicks his butt, and then the next year he's gonna take on the GOAT. Like, really? That's what you're trying to tell me? Like, stop messing with me and give me what I want. I'm gonna go full Dave Bautista. Give me what I want. I didn't need Johnny Knoxville to win. Stop it. That's why WrestleMania 38 bothered me. They did too many. They took the easy route instead of the good route.
So, DP, I said what I said, and I purposely watched WrestleMania 38 because it was like, whoa. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan were in the tag team match, and Rhea Ripley did one or two okay things, but Rhea Ripley is like the most dominant force in wrestling right now. And she didn't dominate the tag team match. What are you guys doing? She couldn't win a tag team match. So that's one. And then two.
But you took her out of being the most dominant. Well, to me, the easy layup would have been a build-up of Rhea Ripley versus Ronda. Right? If you're going to tell me that she's the toughest, give me Rhea versus Ronda and let it play out.
Yep.
Like, let it play out. What would have been really cool would have been a battle between Rhea and Ronda and Steph. As Steph takes the higher claim, the higher step on the ladder, it would be really cool. Like Ronda battling her for what pro wrestling is going to be next. Like that would have been really cool. But they don't. Again, sometimes the dudes in the back don't get it right, and they don't get it right about Rhea. Rhea should be, to me, Rhea should be the champion right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, Rhea should be the champion. Instead, you've got her playing Dominic's pseudo valet, like for a dude that literally, if I never saw Dominic wrestle again, I'd be okay with it.
Yep.
Like if he went away forever, I'm good with it. Like if his name was Dominic Jones, he would be bagging groceries. But instead, he's Dominic Mysterio, and we're supposed to care. No, that's not how it works. He's uninteresting and a terrible wrestler. So I don't care. Like there's stuff that they do that I don't understand. Like figure out, look, if Sammy and Kevin are really good together, then keep using them. Nobody cares. Like simple, man. They drive me crazy.
Well, again, the point for me to rewatch it was like, Stone Cold Steve Austin actually wrestled for the first time in a really long time. And the person to get that honor is Kevin Owens. So for him to main event the Saturday night of WrestleMania, he needs to be more important. Now, I've been saying since August, I think he and Sami Zayn, since August, before he was actually involved, I think he and Sami Zayn are going to win the tag team championships. They might do that. They, as you said, co-main event. They probably should have a Saturday one belt main event with Sami Zayn, and then another main event against The Rock on Sunday night. That's what they probably should do for Roman Reigns. That's probably the only way to get a belt off of him, because you should still keep a belt on him, but they'll probably keep both on him.
Yeah, but you don't have anybody to give the belt to. You haven't built anybody to give the belt to.
And that's where, what are we doing with Braun Strowman? What are we doing with Braun Strowman?
You don't know what you're going to do with Braun. You don't know what you're going to do with McIntyre, right? Because you just ruined McIntyre. You've ruined him.
Yeah.
Ruined him. Sheamus ruined him. Like you're using the Usos to ruin Sheamus? Really? Like this is crazy. So they're going to have to go through. Like Harrison, it's no offense, but it's like we're going to do a remote. Now we're going to put Jay Foreman and Eric Strickland in one room, but we're going to put Harrison in a room by himself next to them and say, hey, folks, which room are you going to walk into? Like,
Yeah, that would suck for me. I would hate that.
Right,
Like, please don't do this for me.
right? Like, don't do this to me. let me wrestle right before Jay, where people are just like, okay, cool. Look at Harrison go. But there's no point to put him at the same time or as a feature. Like again, my beef is, and the beef with them in AEW is the actual booking. It's never the talent. It's the booking and the storytelling. And people forget the reason why it matters is the storytelling. The talent is nobody there's no greater talent now in any one or the other. They look bigger, they talk different, whatever. But I'm almost to the side that give me an AEW invasion, right? Or give me a full NXT invasion. Like, give me the women of NXT and just have them come in and just kick everybody's butt, right? Because it'll change everything. But they're not doing it, and it's going to drive me crazy, and they're going to take the lazy way, and then I'm just going to be mad the entire build-up, and I'll be mad for a month after because they waste my time and they ruined a thing that was important. Could have been important.
Yeah, and I'm sure you were upset that they had the New Day last night win the NXT Tag Team Champs. Like, why?
No, I don't mind it at all because you're building talent against them and around them.
So you want them to
tag team. Like, you actually have to have tag team, and you're not developing new tag team talent. You're developing new singles talent, and on the big roster, the tag teams, you don't do it enough for it to matter. Like, you're ruining singles talent because you haven't developed tag team talent.
Well, the tag team talent is actually in AEW.
Well, but see, here's the tag team personalities are in AEW. There's very little talent in AEW. Harrison, it's the thing again. I can put Jay Foreman in a wrestling ring, and everybody kind of in their head gets an idea that he's going to be pretty impressive. Then if I took Jake Bachhoven and put him next to and say, Jake Bach wrestling is the same as Foreman wrestling, nobody would believe us.
A little difference there.
That's the difference between WWE and AEW.
I'm only talking about the Acclaim with Billy Gunn. Like, I think that is up there, and they're not getting enough attention. That's
because nobody cares. Nobody cares. Make me care. I don't care. Make me care. Like, that's the key. Look.
Real quick, DP, we got to go to break. So real quick.
Hoss, give Harrison a list of people to watch for even 5 minutes and have them grade on a scale from 1 to 5 whether he's interested in them or not. That would be the right way to handle this.
Done.
Absolutely. Haas, definitely send that to me, and I'll have some homework to go through for the next show next Sunday. But we do got to go to break here. This is The Breeze on Ticket Weekends. I'm Harrison Arns running the board, and as always, we have host Haas and DP here as well. We'll be back right after this break.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. I agree. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. I grew up in Nebraska, attended our local public schools, and became a teacher. It wasn't easy, but it's the best investment I've ever made. Teachers are encouraging every student to invest their time in learning. Please join us in that effort. Support public education.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weekends. This is The Breeze on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I am Harrison Arns running the board, and we have host Haas with us as well, and DP as always. We just got done kind of talking about WrestleMania 38. Haas is going to give me a list of 5 fighters I need to go and watch, at least 5 minutes of each, and get an idea on what their style is and if I'd want to watch them in the future. But Haas, I'll go ahead and throw it to you.
So for our last segment, just DP and I were talking about WWE catchphrases, and what we want to do is bounce off catchphrases to each other. And with this, there is no studying, there's no notes, there's no phone. It's just whatever comes to mind. I'll say a catchphrase, and let's just keep rapid firing them back. So I'll start with your boys. Devon, get the tables.
That's fine. We snack on danger and dine on death. Woo! Now we go to school.
Hello, ladies.
What a rush.
It's time to board the train.
Because pimping ain't easy.
Finally, The Rock has come back to Lincoln.
Right here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Have a nice day.
You have a nice day.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I'm the advocate for the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar.
Take your vitamins, say your prayers.
All right, hey, we got about a minute left here. Give me the best one. Best one you got on you.
Grand finale. Hey, Hoss, I have to ask you. If you got to pick one catchphrase that you use forever, but only one.
Can I bring up what I said on Thursday?
You would choose.
In honor of my grandma.
We had to, man. We had to.
Harrison, to tell you real quick, on Thursday night, I joined Old School, and DP asked me which catchphrases I loved. And my grandma, she's an 80-pound, really super religious lady, and didn't speak English. And just she learned a couple words, taught her, hey, how are you, and things like that. She didn't know what this meant, but I told her, when you ask that, immediately say, it doesn't matter! And so you see this 80-year-old lady who's just got her scarf on, and she's so sweet and loving, and she'd ask you how you're doing, and bam!
You hit you with
That's
it.
great.
Hey, to close it out, to be the man, you have to beat the man.
Give me a hell yeah! What?
What?
Hell yeah! All right.
Yes.
See.
Yes. Yes.
See.
All right. We got to wrap it up here. It was good to get that one out. We got a little wild there in the last segment, but we were going to.
You just made the list, Harrison.
Tom and Mike up next. They'll be up for 2 hours. Sunday Rewind. And this is it for the Breeze. Appreciate you guys listening. We will see you next week.